We've got Der Klassiker. We've got Derby de la Capitale and a big battle between Betis and Villarreal.
Liverpool continue to stroll towards the Premier League title, and we're capping all the action from the UEFA competitions this week. All that and more on this episode 58 of the No Business Soccer Podcast. Snooze, kick them off.
Let's dig in. Yes. Welcome back to the No Business Soccer Podcast. I'm your host, Snooze, and we're here with the full fam. It is a great day. It's Thursday. We got a bunch of games going on. Oh, man, it's awesome to be alive. And, of course, we have J-Fam, the Brainiac. We have Danny P on the ones and twos. And everybody's favorite, Hype Man Vic. What you sipping on, dog?
Tell you what, this is for my bourbon lovers today. This is one of the rarest bottles I have. Definitely one of the best ones I have, and I've had it on here a couple of times. We got some Jack 12 going on today. It's batch 2 for everybody in the know, and it's just one of the best, man. It's just straight up just banana bread, some cherry in there, definitely a bunch of wood. You know, Snooze's favorite wood, and yeah, just absolutely delicious. And you know, you're right, Snooze. It's a good day. I'm feeling good, so I'm gonna have some damn good rare bourbon today. And cheers.
Hey,
while I do have this, because I almost forgot. Everybody, go ahead and like and subscribe while you're down here. And while I take this drink, cheers to everybody. There it goes. And thanks.
Click it or ticket. For the record, I've had many Jack and Cokes in my life, so that's not rare at all. I've had that before. Okay,
you just pissed off every bourbon drinker.
No, not my intention. Okay, guys. Well, to give you a little heads up on what the show is going to look like today, we have, of course, a recap of all the UEFA competitions. Crazy stuff was happening in the Europa League, Conference League, and the Champions League. And then we also have to look ahead at all of the matches coming in this weekend in the Serie A, and La Liga, Premier League, and the Bundesliga. So
yeah,
got a decent amount of stuff to cover, Vic. Okay, anything before we kick it off?
Oh, let's do it, Snooze.
Okay, well, let's go straight into the UEFA competitions. And boy, did we have some good first legs of the quarterfinals. We'll start it off in the Conference League. And the Conference League is actually pretty interesting with the teams that are left in the, well, it seems like they'll be going through. I don't want to say they're for sure going through the semifinals. That would be disrespectful. But we did have Chelsea getting a 3-0 win over Legia Warsaw. We had Rapid Vienna getting a 1-0 win over Djurgården. Hopefully I said that right. And we had Fiorentina getting a 2-1 win, our Fiorentina, over Celje. And then we had Real Betis getting the 2-0 win over Jagiellonia Białystok.
Not
you
bad.
like that, don't
Not
you?
bad.
Like that.
There you go.
And so it's looking like it's going to be a Chelsea, Fiorentina, Real Betis, and a Rapid Vienna semifinal. But we'll see. There's still one more leg to go. And if it was those teams, man, fun times. Okay. Let's move it right along to the Europa League, and we'll talk a little bit more about this one. The first match we'll talk about is Lazio versus Bodo Glimt. It was 2-0 to Bodo Glimt, and it was crazy. I saw a tweet. I don't know if you saw this, Vic, but I think it was last night. The snow is the word I'm looking for, had covered the entire pitch over there where they were playing. And yeah, Lazio is obviously coming from Rome. I don't think it's quite. Whoa, my boy! Don't hit it like that!
Damn.
Don't hit it like that!
We getting it.
We getting it. But Lazio playing in some really, really cold temperatures. They end up 2-0 down in the first leg. And then we go to Rangers Athletic Club, and it is 0-0 at the end of that one. It was kind of weird because Rangers got a red card. And I want to say the first, if not first 10 minutes, at least the first 20 for sure. And Athletic Club could not get the win. And it's kind of like another team we're going to talk about here in a second. They had been trading their performances, if you will, in La Liga to get better in the Europa League, and they end up getting 0-0 in Ibrox on the road. So that's crazy to me. Of course, we have Manchester United and Lyon finishing 2-2, so that's a draw there, and Spurs and Eintracht Frankfurt in 1-1 in North London. Okay, those are the Europa League matches and how it ended. Vic, anything you want to talk about in the Europa League match before we go to the biggers? The biggers? Big league.
The biggers no. I guess Europa Leagues don't like wins. I mean, there's
I know that's
three draws out of them, and then Bodo Glint getting the win. That's pretty impressive. But
you wouldn't think that would be the team, right?
Yeah,
the one team to get the win.
Yeah, exactly. We might see a lot of OT and penalties in the next round, the next leg. We'll see.
Hopefully, please. Or Spurs just win outright. Okay, let's do it. Let's talk about the Champions League. And man, there were some crazy matches that we had this Tuesday and Wednesday. First up, we're going to talk about Bayern versus Inter. And that ends 2-1 in Munich, actually. So Inter get the 2-1 win on the road. And now they go back to San Siro with a goal lead against Bayern. And man, it was an interesting match because the way that Bayern played this match, it kind of felt like they didn't feel like they had the confidence to go out there and take this one from Inter. And it was like one team, you can tell. I mean, both teams are at the top of the table, right? But it felt like Inter knew that they were better than Bayern, which I'm not saying they are. It just felt that way when I was watching this match, Vic. And maybe it'll turn around, but that's how I felt in this one. Okay, Vic, do you want to go to a certain specific match? Or do we just want to talk about?
I want to talk what everyone was talking about. I mean,
yep.
Your boy Declan Rice putting on two of the best free kicks I think I've ever seen. Those were absolutely incredible. That's when you hit like when you play FIFA and you just hit the perfect penalty, like the perfect free kick. That was just like amazing. The picture perfect top corner. Yeah, I know.
In a quarterfinal against Real Madrid. Yeah. Oh my God, that was insane. Obviously, not a big fan of Arsenal here. And we actually talked about it on the preview. We were saying how Real Madrid probably be the team getting a 3 or 4-0 win because of the defense on the Arsenal side not being able to hold that front three that Real Madrid have. Yeah. But, hey, turns out that was not the case. Arsenal are a much better team, apparently. And we're making fun of them because they're dropping so many points in the Prem. Like, you better win in the Champions League. And who would have thunk it? 3-0 in the first leg.
I was trying to hate so bad, and then Arsenal come out and just dominate. I mean, for the rest of the game, it was pretty close. But, I mean, you can't stop those two kicks, those free kicks. Doesn't matter who you are. Yeah.
Declan Rice, definitely. I mean, two of them, incredible. And now we're looking at, I don't know. I don't want to say, if it was any other team, then I would think that Arsenal would be thinking that they have at least the upper hand or one leg in the semifinal. But the fact that they still have to go to the Bernabeu and the fact that it's Real Madrid and all their history, I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel. I definitely wouldn't be laying some lumber on Real Madrid or Arsenal in this one. I'll probably just watch and hopefully it's a great match.
Yeah, I will say that just because I'm defensive minded, even though it was 3-0, Courtois had an amazing game, by the way, as a keeper. Like he was standing on his head there for a while, and he was doing so damn good. But I mean, it doesn't reflect the 3-0, but like besides, of course, Declan Rice being man of the match, I would be like, man, Courtois probably in a losing effort is man of the match. He was doing crazy things out there, so looked pretty cool. It was pretty good game.
You know, the only thing I will say about Real Madrid's, I don't know, the hope that they can get it done if you're the Real Madrid fan out there, is that Arsenal got 2 free kick goals. We just talked about them, right? They're beautiful, amazing. They're not going to get that again. You take those 2 away, it's a 1-0 game. You know what I mean? Obviously, you can't, and that's, you know what I'm trying to say, though, right? Like they're not going to get 2 of those in the next match. And if we take those away and we look at just the actual football being played, Real Madrid were right there. As far as, I mean, they weren't the better team. I'll just say that out loud. But I just feel like if it's in the Bernabeu and then they're kind of, I mean, they're in the 3-0 hole. But if they just go in there and start going for it, I don't know. Maybe they can. I've seen crazier things happen. Let me just say that. How about that? We'll leave it there. Okay. Yeah. One that wasn't crazy was Barcelona 4, Dortmund 0. And Yamal was insane. I always want to say the dream, but I don't know if that's caught on. I mean, the dream, Yamal. Anyway, he's awesome. They get a 4-0 win. Barcelona looks like they're going to be very hard to beat in in any competition, honestly. And Dortmund, hey, you know, they're confusing, but this seemed like it was it was well worth their time. They got to the quarterfinals. They're fine. They don't need to go on. Right, Vic? They're going to come back.
Right. Yeah, we said we didn't know how they looked. We didn't know what to expect from Dortmund, but it was weird because even though we didn't know what to expect, when we saw how they played, we were like, yeah, that's probably what they were going to do. So it was like we kind of did know what to expect. I don't know. There's such a weird team.
We're giving them the benefit of the doubt. They're a team that got to the freaking final last year in this same competition.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. Now, the game that I enjoyed the most was PSG versus Aston Villa. And I think I enjoyed it the most because I really felt like Aston Villa had a chance here. And if they could get a point, even a point on the road, I felt like there was a good chance that they can go through. And even though PSG took care of Liverpool in the last match, we don't know. PSG have the same history that Real Madrid has in the success in the Champions League. PSG has for failure in the Champions League. That sounds very harsh, but it's true. They've lost in some ridiculous ways in this competition, and to see them look so good, and really it was 2-1 the entire match until the towards the very end. They get that extra goal, and now it's a 2-goal lead going into or going on the road to Aston Villa next time out. And man, it's hard to see Aston Villa coming back because just the way they play. I don't see them outscoring PSG by 2, and maybe they get it done, but man, PSG just look great right now. I feel like if it weren't for Barcelona looking so good, they might be favorites.
I don't know, man. I think PSG is still the favorites because they knocked out Liverpool. Liverpool is the greatest team in the world, so PSG by beating them make them the greatest team in the world. So I will admit this is I will admit this is the one match I didn't really watch this past weekend. So my apologies, but I just thought they would take care of business. It's all right.
You're like, yeah, this is gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Yeah. Well, PSG look good. Havertz is looking like he's gelling. Dembele is amazing. Barcola is amazing. I mean, the whole team. PSG is just fun. It's weird how they get rid of Mbappe and now they look like an actual team. Like they're playing great. Luis Enrique's got a team there, and they might go all the way. We'll see. I don't know how the bracket plays out, Vic, or someone. Can we look at that? What does the bracket look like for them?
No idea, actually.
Champions League bracket view. Let's see. Let's take a look at this to see if they get past Aston Villa, which they set themselves up. They would be taking on Arsenal or Real Madrid, and then so you know what? I'm going for a PSG Barcelona final. That would be amazing.
Sounds good to me. Yeah.
It's looking like Paris and Arsenal in the next rounds if we're just looking at the first legs. So that was the first leg of the quarterfinals in all of the competitions in the UEFA competitions. I think I just said that twice. Anyway, whatever. The point was it was a fun time, and we're inching closer and closer to those semifinals and to the finals. Okay.
Sir.
That is it. Vic, I think it's time. I think I knocked my headphones out. Testing. Can you hear me?
Check. I can hear you.
Okay. All right. Sorry, guys. I've been having some issues. We'll break the fourth wall here.
Leave a comment if you can hear them. Give us some comments down there. Really.
I think I need a new cable, or maybe I don't know what's going on. Anyway. All right. Well, let's get it kick-started then. And I think first we should start in Italy.
Let's do it then. To Serie A.
Yes. Let's do this, baby. The land of wine and pasta. I don't know, whichever one.
Unlimited pasta and breadsticks.
No, not that. Not the land of that. Vic, give us an update of the table after match day 31.
Yes, sir. Well, Inter Milan are still your reigning champions right now. Actually, I don't know if they're reigning, but they have 68 points. Even though they did come off a draw, we did talk about this last time. The top 6 teams all dropped points. None of them got wins, and it's a good week if you're one of the top because everyone else dropped points. Inter Milan have 68 points. In the number 2 spot with 65 points is Napoli. And then a full 7 points beneath them is Atalanta. They are on a 3-game losing streak. And, all those 9 points definitely could have came in handy right now. They'd be 1 point behind the Inter Milan, which is crazy. But they're in the 3rd spot with 58 points. Bologna round out our top 4. They have 57 points. And then tickling our top 4 is Juventus. Christian, if you're listening, he did say he was listening the other day. And he's like, I didn't know you called my name. Hey, Christian, if you're listening again, in with Juventus being in the number 5 spot, tickling the top 4 with 56 points. If you just call this out, I'll buy you lunch if you're listening. Whatever you want. In the 6th spot is Lazio. Our Lazio, they have 55 points, just 1 point behind Juventus, fighting for those Europa League spots. Fighting for their life at the bottom of the table is Empoli. They're in the 18th spot with 24 points. They would be the first team relegated if the season ended today. Venezia keep their badge and their relegation status. They're in the 19th spot with 21 points. And then Monza doing its best to stay on the bottom. Only team on the bottom 3 to get a loss this past weekend. They're in the 20th place with 15 measly points. Negative 30 goal differential. Worst in the league so far. And yeah, it's not looking good for them. Snooze, anything on the table you want to call out at this point? I know we called it out last episode.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
All right, yeah. So we do have some fun matches this week. Go ahead and break down the schedule we got this weekend. Snooze, what are we looking at?
Yes, sir. We have Friday gets kicked off. We have 2 mid-table teams going head-to-head when Milan travel to Udinese. And Milan are just about keeping their European hopes alive for next season, but they cannot drop any more points, and that starts with getting 3 points away at Udinese this weekend. On Saturday, it's second bottom against bottom when Monza go on the road to take on Venezia. And now Venezia have held some of the best teams in Serie A to draws recently, and Monza are not that. Plus 3 points would be huge for Venezia, but Monza are pretty much gone at the moment, so it doesn't really matter. Inter get Cagliari at San Siro, and anything less than 3 points for them would be a failure. Cagliari are not the same team on the road as they are at home. And the Milkmen go to Turin to take on Juve, and Juve have started to get some results under Tudor, and they have 6 matches to stamp their card to Europe. Their gap between them and teams under is not big, so they can't really drop too many more points. And Lecce, decent side, they should be able to get it done, though. On Sunday, the struggling Atalanta get the surging Bologna in Bergamo, and Bologna is coming in fresh off holding Napoli to a draw, and Atalanta have lost 3 straight. They can't make it 4 in a row, right? There's no way they can lose 4 in a row. We'll find out. Our Fiorentina take on Parma, who haven't won in 5 straight matches and have drawn 4 in a row. With the match in Florence, it's a great time for Fiorentina to get 3 points and start pushing for Europe again. Verona and Genoa are both looking to stay up, and they take each other on this weekend, and a point is pretty much a good result for both of them. Como are in 13th and right above Verona, and they take on a mid-table Torino side that haven't lost in 5 straight Serie A matches. If Como believes that they are going to take steps to be a Serie A mainstay, then this is the type of match they should be winning, and we'll see if they do. But that Milinkovic Savage is a beast. It's the battle for Rome and the Derby della Capitale, Lazio versus Roma in the Stadio Olimpico, and we'll dig more into this one in just a second. And on Monday, Napoli take on 18th Empoli, and this should be pretty straightforward for Napoli. That's, of course, famous last words. I honestly don't know why they're putting Napoli versus 18th in the table Empoli on a Monday night. Like, is it not like in the U.S. where we have Monday Night Football where they try to do like good games? You know, actually, that's probably controversial too. There's probably
we also have
to argue.
We also have Thursday Night Football, which is notoriously terrible team.
Yeah,
so
fair enough.
Maybe they're just switching up so everybody gets a chance. You know.
Yeah, like, hey, watch this team because they're not going to be here for too much longer. Okay.
Yeah,
well, let's do it. Let's dig into Lazio versus Roma, the Derby della Capitale. And if you recall this reverse fixture, it was only back in January. Roma won 2-0, and Lazio were kind of in a rut. They were in a funk. They were not good at that moment anyway. In the 12 matches since that loss, Lazio have gone 5 wins, 5 draws, and 2 losses. That's not great, but it's better. They're about a mid-table team if you're looking at those last results. They've actually only lost once in their last 5 matches, but they've only won twice as well. So they're doing a lot of drawing, and they're staying right in the hunt, but it's completely different because meanwhile, Roma have gone 9 wins and 3 draws, no losses since that match, and they've won 7 straight prior to drawing with Juve last time out. This Roma side are just incredible. And in the last 5 derbies, Vic, it's been 2 wins for both sides and 1 draw. So it's a very competitive tie. Both sides winning some, both sides losing some. And this one coming up on Sunday, though, the stakes are even bigger. The things, because attached to this game is not just the bragging rights, the Rome teams facing each other. Whatever, your neighbor is a Lazio fan, you're a Rome fan, but also Lazio are in 6th and Roma are in 7th. And a win for Roma puts them past Lazio in the table, and that would just be the icing on the cake. the toppings on the pizza, the fettuccine on the pasta.
Oh my god!
Sorry,
Offensive.
this is gonna be a fun one though,
No.
and I can't wait to watch it. And Vic, I almost said tell us the odds, but we're doing that soon, guys.
Yeah.
We're doing that soon. Vic, anything you want to say about this match?
Yes. We'll get into the degeneracy pretty soon. We're gonna probably have some odds in there. Let us know what if you guys would like to see some odds for each one of these matches that we call out. And it'd be pretty good. I guess just a little preview to it. The only odds I saw was that Lazio were a little bit of a favorite, which is kind of weird because to me, besides Bologna, they're the best in shape team right now in the past 6 matches, the most points of the past 6 matches. So for Roma to be surging right now and for Lazio not to be in such bad form, but not as good as Roma, the fact that they're not a favorite is pretty weird. I don't know, but
the fact that you can put money on Lazio being a favorite is crazy.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's why we're going to probably get into that degeneracy as well. This might be one of those good bets for you to put in if that's what you like to do.
Put it in if you like to do that.
Okay.
Anything else, Vic?
I got nothing else. No.
Okay. Well, let's move it right along. Keep the train going to Spain.
Let's do it. To La Liga. So smooth, smooth.
Just want to be sipping some vino rojo.
Yeah,
I'm guessing that's where it's from. Some jamon. Stuff like that.
Sipping on some jamon?
No, you know what I'm saying. If you don't know, Vic's goal in life is to piss me off at any chance he can get. He just succeeded halfway right there, but I'm not going to let it get
I would never. I would never.
All right, Vic, give us a reminder of what the table looks like after match day 30.
Yes. Well, it looks very familiar up top because Barcelona are still reigning supreme. They have 67 points. After 30 games, Real Madrid are 4 points behind them. Actually, they have 63 points coming off that loss that they just had. And in the third spot, Atletico Madrid, just 3 points behind them. These points were a little, they were spread out more, but now they're kind of getting a little bit closer. Huh? Yeah, it's getting more interesting because it wasn't as bad as it was like earlier. In the fourth spot, rounding out our top 4, a clear 6 points behind Atletico Madrid is Athletic Club. They have 54 points, dropping 2 draws the past 2 games that they had. So definitely something to be desired there for them, but they're definitely going to probably be working on that, I imagine. Tickling our top 4 is the Villarreal. They have 48 points in one of those Europa League spots. Tied with them is Real Betis, also with 48 points, coming off that draw. Both of them trying to jump each other, but it's not really working out for them. Either one of them, actually. So trying to jump in front of each other and try to get those Champions League spots. Let's see how the rest of the season turns out. My money's on Betis, if you had to ask me. But my where you should not be putting any money are on these bottom 3 teams. The Leganés are in the 18th spot. They would be the first team relegated if the season ended today. They have 28 points in the I already said 18th spot. In the 19th spot, Las Palmas have 26 points, 2 points clear behind Leganés. And then holy guacamole, my Voli Dolies in the number 20 spot, very bottom, a good base, good solid foundation for the league. They have 16 measly points and doing their best to stay on the bottom with 4 straight losses. Not looking good. I will keep your cup, but man, it's going to be for a second league team, unfortunately. Snooze, anything on the table you want to call out, or you want to go look?
No, not this time.
All right, then let's do it. We got some pretty good matchups this weekend in La Liga. Let's go over the schedule with your boy Snooze.
Yes, sir. And it all kicks off on Friday as usual. And don't look now, but Valencia are getting hot. After their win over Real Madrid last weekend, they are now 6 points clear of relegation, and they take on a struggling Sevilla side who've lost 3 straight. A win here for Valencia could see them go all the way to 12th, which is insane. Real Sociedad on Saturday. Real Sociedad get mid-table Mallorca at home. La Real have a pretty decent-sized gap between themselves and Betis in 6th. So they really basically just need to get this past Celta in 7th. Beating a Mallorca team who've lost 2 straight is the first step. And I don't really know why. Actually, Vic, is this true? Let's see. La Real have a pretty decent-sized gap between them and Betis in 6th. Yes, they do. Okay. Sorry, I read it wrong in my head, and in my mind, I was like, no, they're not. It's on goal differential. because breaking the fourth wall. We were doing shorts before this, and I kept messing up on Villarreal and Betis playing this weekend, but that's not what we're talking about here. Moving on, the mighty Getafe get Las Palmas at home, and Las Palmas have been terrible lately, and Getafe are winners of 3 of their last 5. Get it done, Getafe. Let's see how far they can take this. Celta Vigo are unbeaten in 5 La Liga matches, and they take on Espanyol, who've only lost once in their last 5. Both teams need to win in their respective ends of the table, and it should be a fun one because of that. Table toppers Barcelona go on the road to Leganés, and Leganés drew with Osasuna last week, but they had lost 3 straight prior to that, and Barcelona should have a pretty straightforward match here. Every time I say Leganés, it reminds me of that Lego, Legless, Leganés. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, actually, you're not a nerd, so you don't know what Legolas.
No idea.
Never mind. Never mind. If you know what I'm talking about, please let me know in the comments because it's a meme of Legolas and he's a Lego, and so it's like Legolas, Lego. Anyways, whatever.
No, absolutely
not. Stop it. On Sunday, Osasuna and Girona battle it out as both teams haven't won in the last 5 matches, and both seem like they'll be safe from the relegation fight, but not fighting for too much more than that. Real Madrid look to bounce back from their shock defeat to Valencia last time out, and they are away at Alaves. Alaves are only 2 points clear of the relegation places, but they've only lost once in their last 5, so this could be a trap game. Maybe. Betis get Villarreal at home, and it's a big match for European placement, and we will talk about this one, and we'll break it down here in just a moment. Athletic Club get Rayo Vallecano at San Mamés, and Athletic really need to get 3 points from this match because they've won only once in their last 5, and now only a 6-point gap between them and Villarreal in 5th. Rayo have lost their mojo, and I think they had it about a month ago, and now they're mid-table with only 1 win in their last 5. Neither team is in great league form, so we'll see how it plays out. And on Monday, kind of similar to Serie A we just talked about, Atletico Madrid look to build off their win last weekend as they get bottom of the table Valladolid, and it's pretty clear-cut chance for them to get 3 points here. And again, why are we watching this island game? I don't know. Hey, they want to do
because they're gonna pull an upset. That's why.
Oh,
Dolly.
There you go. Bad betting advice. Don't take that. Okay, well, let's jump right into it then, Vic. The match we're watching is Villarreal versus Real Betis. And Real Betis are just a fun team to watch at the moment. They're winning all the time. They're winning in I don't want to say every match because they just drew with Barcelona last time out, but they're just a very good team to watch. And whenever we go into this match, it's 5th versus 6th, and Villarreal are going on the road to Betis. And as Vic mentioned, Betis are only 6th on goal differential. They're both on 48 points. Actually, I'm not sure if you mentioned that, but if you didn't, then they're only they're only in 6th place because of goal differential. And last season ended, and Betis just edged out Villarreal to take the Conference League spot. And it's looking like this season they're going to be battling it out for that same place in Europe again, albeit with 8 more matches, only 6 points to Athletic Club. And it's looking ever more like 5th place in La Liga is going to be a Champions League spot. So this might not be a Conference League battle. This could be maybe Champions League, maybe Europa League. We'll find out. But this battle has way more on the line because of it. And since Betis lost last to Celta on February 8th, they've gone 6 wins and 1 draw, with wins over Real Sociedad, Sevilla, Real Madrid, and plus the draw to Barcelona last weekend. Something's changed in that team, and they are looking good domestically and in the Conference League. Villarreal, on the other hand, have only won twice in their last 5 La Liga matches. And now you could say it's injured players getting back into form, but there is a ton of time left. There isn't a ton of time left for them to hit their stride. And man, this match is exactly the type of match that Villarreal need to win if they're kind of going to get out of their mediocre results funk. Because Betis are a team that are surging. If you can beat them, you can pretty much beat everybody, right? They drew with Barcelona. I don't know if that's actually true, but the way that Betis have been playing, though, I don't see them faltering now. And Vic, do you see it that way too? I see it being like a 2-1 win for Betis.
Yeah, I think I see it about the same, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna make Real Betis like the match to watch every week because who's not watching them? I will say that we won't be watching them at 11:30 p.m. My bad, there's a typo. Should be a.m. I need a proofreader, so if anybody's looking to proofread some stuff, let me know down in the comments. So my bad, that's 11:30 a.m. Obviously, they're not playing at what 5:30 in the morning. Is that what that would be? Yeah, that'd be crazy. But yeah, Real Betis is. Nobody's going to bet against them at this point. Like the way they've been playing lately, the form they've been in. I think I got it probably about 2-1 as well. And it's going to be fun to see how they separate themselves from each other these few weeks that we have left.
And yeah, the win, like I was saying, we don't know where the Champions League spots will fall because there's a very good possibility that it could be all the way to 6th, 7th place, maybe. We'll find out. But either way, where they are right now, it's a big battle. And whoever comes out on top of it is going to be, I guess, in the driver's seat for that, whatever spot's better. I wish we had more clarification on the coefficient, but also like, if Barcelona win the Champions League, but they're also win La Liga, then their spot gets pushed down. And so, it could be a very, very interesting end of the season here in La Liga. Okay.
Sir?
That is it for La Liga. Let's move on now to Germany.
Let's do it. To Bundesliga.
Oh, yeah. Let's do this because, Vic, I'm very excited for these. I don't know why. I can tell you there's only one match that I know for sure I'm going to watch. But for some reason, the Bundesliga has been the league that I've been looking forward to the most. Maybe it's because, like we went there and like I'm just partial to
our stomping grounds. That's
there you go. Didn't go to a single Bundesliga match, but the whole country is our stomping ground.
Yes.
So give us the lowdown on where the table ended after match day 28.
Yeah, well, this seems to be only a 2-horse race at this point because Bayern Munich are the number 1 team with 68 points, still looking in good form. The number 2 team is Bayer Leverkusen with 62 points, just 6 points clear of them, or just 6 points underneath them. And you may think that's a pretty big gap for number 1, number 2, for me to be calling this a 2-horse race. But beneath them is Eintracht Frankfurt with 48. That's a whole 14 points below Bayer Leverkusen. So there's only 2 people that are actually challenging for this championship, and it's going to be pretty insane these next few weeks. But rounding out our top 4, no tickling yet. Rounding out our top 4 is Mainz. They have 46 points, 2 points behind Eintracht Frankfurt. And then tickling our top 4 is RB Leipzig with 45 points, getting that big win in order to keep them in the Europa and Conference or Champions League conversation. So good on then RB Leipzig. And then just to call them out, Borussia Mönchengladbach have 44 points in the number 6 spot, fighting for those Europa Leagues and Champions League spots as well. They are looking just 1 point behind RB Leipzig and also looking pretty good, actually. So who is not looking good is your boys, Bochum. They have 20 points there in the 17th spot. They would be the first team eliminated if the season ended today. And then holding up the rest of the table is Holstein Kiel. I mean, it even sounds like Holstein. They have 18 points. It's still pretty close out there. Either one of these teams can fight out of that relegation spot. Heidenheim only has a 2-point lead on Bochum in the 16th spot for that playoff. I think it's a playoff match that they have.
Yeah, so, relegation playoff.
Yeah, the relegation playoff. So anybody can climb out of that and still have a chance for it. Bochum can, even Holstein Kiel can. It's going to be interesting on the top 2 and the bottom 3. And then, the rest is just kind of pretty cool, I guess.
The jockeying for places. I mean, look at that from Stuttgart all the way where they have 40, so they're 9th, all the way to Mainz in 4th is a 6-point gap. I mean, two match days and this thing could be insane. I don't want to call that though because last time I was excited to see it, everybody drew and nothing moved, so that was all right, cool. But it's still 6 points from 9th to 4th is crazy at this part of the season. So we'll see how it plays out.
Yes, sir. And then let's see these next matches and how we're going to look this weekend and what we're watching with your boy Snooze. Snooze, what's it looking like this weekend?
Oh, yes. We got some juicy ones, and it kicks off on Friday, as always. Leipzig are away at Wolfsburg, and Leipzig are 5th right now, but their place in the table isn't very firm. They've dropped a lot of points recently, and if they can't get it done against a Wolfsburg side that have lost 3 straight in the Bundesliga, then they don't deserve the Champions League spot that they're probably going to get. So we'll find out. Saturday, Hoffenheim get Mainz at home. And although based on the table, Hoffenheim look like to be in real trouble here as they failed to win the last 4 matches and they're towards the bottom. But Mainz have only won once in that same span. So Mainz are still fighting to get into Europe. And this is a good chance for them to get back on track with 3 huge points. But Hoffenheim are no joke. They're good. Gladbach in 6th get Freiburg in 7th. Gladbach drew St. Pauli last weekend, but Freiburg have been in a funk recently, failing to win any of their last 5 matches. Good chance for Gladbach to get back on the winning side as well here. Relegation threatened Bochum get mid-table Augsburg, and it is a lot to play for if you're Bochum and not so much if you're Augsburg. Leverkusen get Union Berlin at home, and Leverkusen are back on track with 3 straight wins, but Union have won 3 of their last 4 and are in a good run of form that is hard to say. Is this a trap game? We will find out. Kiel gets St. Pauli at home, and it is a 6-pointer for sure. If St. Pauli fail to get 3 points here, then they are in trouble. It's the final Der Klassiker of the Bundesliga season, and we'll talk about this one more in a sec. On Sunday, mid-table Stuttgart and Werder Bremen go toe-to-toe to see who can start to push for a little bit more. The mid-table is so congested in the Bundesliga that we just talked about it. The 6 points separates Stuttgart from getting in the Champions League spots, which is crazy at the moment. Double H put their relegation playoff status on the line as they go on the road to Eintracht Frankfurt. Eintracht should be able to get this done, but maybe their tie with Spurs in the Europa League will be a distraction, and I can tell you who hopes that it will be, and that would be Heidenheim. Okay, Vic, the match that we are watching this weekend is the big one. It is Der Klassiker. It is Dortmund versus Bayern. And Dortmund, I'm just done trying to figure them out. Every time I think I know them, I don't. Unless they play Barcelona, then it looks like kind of how we thought it might go. They win matches that they shouldn't, and they have days when they look amazing. So we'll see which one this is. And there's days where they're terrible. So yeah, the club seems to be in turmoil, but they've won back-to-back matches in the Bundesliga. And Bayern, on the other hand, have righted the ship since they've dropped a couple of points in the last few matches, but they've won back-to-back in the last 2 matches, if that makes sense. They've lost a couple of matches, or they lost a match and drew a match. That's what I was trying to say. But either way, they both come into this match off back-to-back wins in the Bundesliga. And, both teams are playing this match sandwiched between their respective quarterfinal ties in the Champions League. I think Bayern will probably put a little bit more onus on going to beat Inter, being a goal down, versus Dortmund trying to catch up to 4 goals on Barcelona. But either way, they play each other at this time, which is very inconvenient for both of them as they have these ties right afterwards. They still have a 6-point. Bayern still have a 6-point gap to Leverkusen, though. So Dortmund, they're 5 points back from Mainz in 6th. I really don't know how this is going to go because I don't know how they're going to play it. I'm interested to see how Kompany and Niko Kovac play this out because, like I was saying, there's more, I don't want to say important or pressing matters at hand, but kind of, right? Like if Dortmund win this one, that's probably a better thing for them because they're probably not going to get past Barcelona. But for Bayern, you have a 6-point gap to Leverkusen and you dominate in the league. So maybe put all your eggs into that Champions League basket because that's really what you're going to be judged on at the end of the season anyway. So historically, Bayern have dominated this derby. Bayern have won 7 of the last 10 with 2 draws and 1 win for Dortmund. But the thing is, Vic, the last 2 of these Der Klassikers have been a draw and a win for Dortmund. So we'll see how it ends up. I would probably still put money on Bayern getting a win or a draw. I don't know if I'd put money on Dortmund winning it, though. But, Vic, how do you see it?
Yeah, I don't know. I might have to go Dortmund on this one because the Champions League, they're not much into it. Unless they get lucky, they might put some more effort into it. But Bayern Munich seemed a little stretched right now. I mean, with Bayer Leverkusen not really losing as much and dropping as many points that I imagine Bayern Munich want them to, they're only 6 points behind them. So they can't just let their foot off the gas yet. Bayern Munich can't. In the Bundesliga, unlike, maybe somebody in the Premier League, it seems like they are letting their foot off the gas in the first one. But, I mean, they also, and they just lost to Inter 2-1. Like, they have to put some effort in Champions League. They have to put some effort in Bundesliga. I think they'll be a little bit too stretched out, and I think Borussia Dortmund will just take advantage of it.
But yeah, but Bayern already whooped Leverkusen's ass in the Champions League, so they don't even, that was like their Super Bowl right there. They don't even care. This is all house money,
No way you do that for the Champions League. You go all in for the Champions League. So I don't know. That's just the way I see it. I think Borussia Dortmund will get it done by 1 goal, if not 1-0, 2-1, maybe something like that. But it's gonna be pretty.
And you know what? As crazy as they've been, I could see that happening. They've been a crazy team to watch this season. I'll say that. Okay.
All right.
There we go. Let's move on to our final league of this league match day recap. Or look ahead is the word I'm looking for. Let's go to England.
Let's go to the Prem.
He has enjoyed saying this for a long time. So, Vic, go ahead and tell us what the table looks like after match day 31, sir.
Well, the top is very nice and all red, as Liverpool are still the number one team in the league right now. Despite the loss, like I said a little while ago, they might be taking their foot off the gas. Come on, stop doing that. But despite the loss, they still have 73 points in the number one spot, 11 points clear of Arsenal, who have 62 points in the number two spot. 5 points behind them is Nottingham Forest. They have 57 points, and that's why I always say the top is all red. All three of those teams, red, red, red. Pretty nice. Chelsea round out our top four. They have 53 points, 4 points behind Nottingham Forest, and then tickling our top four is Newcastle United, also with 53 points, tied with Chelsea, just behind on 4-point goal differential. I think that's the way you say it. But just looking at the table, it looks pretty nice because, as you can see, Manchester City has no European match or tournament matches at this point. Of course, probably some of those are going to bounce down. They'll probably sneak in anyway with like a seven seed or something. I don't know what that is, but it's going to suck either way. But it looks good right now. Not seeing Manchester City in anywhere in the top five, but looking at the bottom of the table, it looks very familiar, as well as these three teams just came in, and they've been in the bottom three for quite some time now. Ipswich Town are in the 18th spot. I would say they would be the first team eliminated if the season ended today, but the season already ended last week for Southampton, who are in the number 20 spot with 10 measly points. And then right sandwiched in between them is Ipswich Town with 17 points. Leicester City, in the 19th spot, sandwiched between Ipswich Town and Southampton. And then Leicester City and Ipswich Town still have a fighting chance to get out of relegation, but it's not looking good. Mathematically, they haven't been eliminated yet, but if you ask anybody, they've been eliminated. Sucks because they're the three teams to be promoted last season into the season. Now they're going to be the three teams relegated. So happened twice in a row, right? Is that what you said, Snooze? Yeah.
Yep. Happened twice in a row. And I was actually just looking at the championship. Sorry, go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say they might have to Band-Aid that up or figure something out for that. So,
yeah. Let's get this figured out, because relegation only works if it's not the same teams that are coming up being relegated back down again. And actually, that's what I was looking at, because we've had that happen twice in a row. I was like, who's coming up this year if it ended today in the championship? And it's looking like Leeds and Burnley will be the teams to come up. Burnley, that would be a yo-yo, right? They got bounced last year. They would be out and back in 2025, 6, whatever. Yeah, 25, 26. So yeah, Burnley are looking like they're going to be back. Leeds are above them right now in the table. Actually, on points, wow, that's close. They both have 85, but Leeds have a higher goal differential. So maybe pay attention to the championship here. And then Sheffield United, Sunderland, Bristol, and Coventry would be in the playoffs if it ended today, which pretty cool. Coventry, Bristol, Sunderland. Sheffield United have been out for a few years, but I don't think I remember Coventry, Bristol, and Sunderland. It's been, forever since I've seen them. If they get back in the Prem, that'd be awesome, because they have a whole documentary. I don't know if of course you've never seen it. It's Sunderland Till I Die, and I say of course because anytime I ever say, "Did you watch this?" You never watched them. So, but Sunderland Till I Die is some kind of documentary where they're like, it sucks because whenever they started, like they were in the Prem for so long and then they got knocked out, and now that's what the documentary is, them being failures, which sucks. That was harsh. I shouldn't say that. Sorry, Sunderland fans. Anyway, okay, sorry. Back to you. I got
don't worry. This is a show about the Premier League. They're not watching.
yeah, that's true. That's hilarious.
Sorry.
Okay.
Anyway, anything else you want to call? All right.
No.
Let's go and take a look.
Sunderland hate is real, man.
I know. Sorry. That was uncalled for too. My bad. But there are not a lot of really juicy matchups this weekend. But let's go ahead and talk about them. Snooze, what are we looking at?
Yeah, this like you were just saying in the table, everything's pretty much locked up except for a few spots. So on Saturday, City continue their fight for Champions League qualification, and they get a surging Crystal Palace side at the Etihad. On paper, it seems pretty straightforward for City, but Palace have won 4 of their last 5 and haven't lost in any of those 5. So they are a tough team to beat. Villa get to lick their wounds from that PSG match with a softball, in the form of Southampton. And not sure they're going to be rotating, but if there was ever a team, that you could rotate against in the Prem, it is definitely this Southampton team. Forest get Everton at City Ground, and despite the loss to Aston Villa last time out, Forest will feel like they can get 3 points from Everton because they're a side that haven't won in the last 6 Premier League matches. Sorry about that, Danny P. Brighton looked to bounce back from back-to-back losses against a terrible Leicester side who will probably be relegated very soon, just like Southampton. And I think the European dream is fading for Brighton, although they may be able to squeak in due to the Conference League place because of how all that coefficient, all the same stuff we were talking about in La Liga is probably going to happen in the Prem as well. Arsenal get a mid-table Brentford side who've won once in their last 5 matches. But Arsenal won't care about this match. They just beat Real Madrid 3-0 in the Champions League. They aren't worried about the Prem one bit. They don't care. They're going to be in the Champions League next season, whether they win it or whether they stay up there in the top 4 to 5. On Sunday, Chelsea get Ipswich Town at Stamford Bridge, and it's a pretty clear-cut chance for Chelsea to get 3 points here. Spurs go on the road to take on Wolves. Both teams are safe. Both teams are getting into Europe, unless Spurs win it, the Europa League anyways. Really no need for either side to push, and Spurs have to go to Frankfurt next Thursday, so they may be distracted from this match. We'll find out. The champs Liverpool take on West Ham, who have been a huge disappointment this season in the Prem, and the result doesn't really matter for Liverpool all that much, and West Ham are in 16th but safe, so if you're a fan of these teams, I guess you'll watch it, but other than that, there's not a whole lot to watch it for. No stakes in the game, if you will. Newcastle sit in 5th, and they take on United in 13th. Newcastle aren't in Europe and have everything to play for in this match. United are 13th and are still in the Europa League, so I think Newcastle have the edge in this match. On Sunday, mid-table Bournemouth get Fulham in 8th. With the win over Liverpool last week, Fulham have a pretty clear path getting into Europe if they just continue to gather these points. But the Cherries are a tough side. They haven't won the last 6 Premier League matches, but they are pretty good, and they've been pretty good this season up until the past 6 matches, of course. Okay, Vic, like we were saying a second ago, there's not a ton of big stake matches this match day, but one match that I want to watch, and I'll ask you the same which match you'll be watching. One match that I'm interested to see how it kind of plays out is Manchester City versus Crystal Palace, because, like I was saying, Palace, they're not getting into Europe. They don't have a lot to play for, but they are just a tough team to beat. And City, like you were just mentioning a second ago when you're talking about the table, they definitely need to make sure that they're securing their Champions League spot, because there's a chance, Vic, if they continue to drop points, they could be in the Europa League, which is, I mean, maybe even the Conference League, probably not. But either way, anything less than the Champions League is just not good for a Manchester City side. So I'm interested in that one, Vic. Anything that you're interested in?
Well, I don't know, man. It's going to be pretty tough to watch. I mean, he even told you earlier when we were a little off air that I was looking at the schedule and I was like, you know, I usually go play disc golf early in the morning, and Saturday I can't because we have an event for Adam and his dad, and then Sunday I was invited, but I was like, no, I can't go. You know, Liverpool plays at 8, and I looked at the schedule and was like, man, maybe I can go. It's West Ham. Like, I can just put it on in the background. So, you know, I'll be watching that. I'll be checking scores and everything. There's nothing that really just pops out and kind of grabs my attention on any of this stuff. I'm also very disappointed because since we lost last week, we had it in our hand that if we won out, we would secure the championship against Tottenham. And I thought that would be amazing. And since we lost last week, we can't do that anymore unless Arsenal lose again, but I can't count on that anymore either. So, yeah, a lot of disappointment right now for me in the Premier League. So maybe I'll just boycott it this weekend. I don't know, like that.
Yeah, poor you. I feel so bad. Okay. Oh, I think that does it. This actually went way longer than I thought it would. And I was telling you, oh, man, it'll be like a 30-minute pod. No way. We talk a lot here. Okay, Vic, take us home.
Let's do it. All right. Well, everyone, thank you for spending some time with us and listening to the podcast here at the No Business Soccer Podcast. Please be sure to drop a like, subscribe. It's the best way to promote us and help us out and get seen by more people. And, of course, drop us a comment. We love talking to you guys and just knowing what you guys think of the European soccer, or if we missed something, call us out for sure. Follow us on all of our socials. Everything is at No Business Soccer Podcast. As you see, I figured out I'm going the wrong way, so it's supposed to be this way, I think. Everything is at No Business Soccer Podcast, except for X, except for TikTok. That is at No Biz Sock Pod because it was too long. Everyone enjoy the football this weekend, and we will talk to you very soon. Peace.